What is up, everyone? It's Peyton Anderson back again with Next Level Athletes. I have the honor of introducing our guest on the podcast today, Luke Brenner. The Grand Rapids native saw himself lead the team in both receptions, 28, and yards, 276 this past season, as well as being named to the PFL Academic Honor Roll. First off, thank you, Luke, for taking the time to come on the podcast today.
Yeah, just man, thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
Of course. And starting with your recruitment out of high school, how would you best summarize not only what the experience was like for you, but also what Dayton and his program as a whole stood out to you most to be able to commit there?
Yeah, man. So like my experience in high school, I was a track and football guy. Football has always been my first love, and that's something that when I was in high school getting recruited, I wanted to be like a foundation of what I was doing. I knew for that I was going to be a football player. Like track wasn't really going to be an option for me. So
Mhm.
with that, like I never really, dabbled in like the indoor track scene. So I knew it was going to be football, and I got a lot of local offers and things like that. But ultimately, before I got offered by Dayton, I visited there as a student my sophomore year of high school. And I fell in love with the campus, and then as soon as I got that offer for them, it kind of just like felt perfect. You know what I mean? Like there really wasn't another place I
Mhm.
wanted to be. So that's what really drew me to Dayton, kind of everything that I wanted to be academically, athletically, and then there's the community that it is as a whole.
Mhm. And additionally, what did you learn most about yourself as a result of the recruitment process?
Um, trust your gut. You'll know for sure what it's gonna be. Like for me, I was like a really small guy in high school, wasn't really offered that much. But when I got that phone call from Dayton for Christian Bryan, my first receiver coach, man, it meant the world to me. Because he visited me at the school and then made a call later, and it was just one of those things where like I just knew right away that you know just being like a smaller guy that if they're gonna take a chance on me, I'm gonna let them take that chance and make full opportunity of it, and I feel like I have so far.
Hmm. And taking a look back in your high school career, you were a captain for both football and track. You saw yourself gain over 2,000 yards, 21 touchdowns in two varsity seasons, but also a 2019 state championship and a 200-meter dash, amongst other accolades. Reflecting back on high school as a whole, what would you say was your all-time favorite memory or memories?
Probably winning states and track. That was probably just one of my best like in just achievements. I mean, to be the fastest in the state as a junior, that was something great. COVID cut my senior season short, unfortunately, so I wasn't able to repeat there.
Hmm.
But probably that for track wise, but for football wise, man, I had a lot of great memories with a lot of those guys. Sorry, my dog's barking here.
No, you're good. I have two dogs
But
at home. No,
I
you're
would
good.
say, man, like we played a game my senior year against Thornapple Kellogg, and it was just a hard fought battle game. Came on the fourth quarter, and just like winning that game was great with the guys, and then the bus ride home was probably my favorite memory from my high
Hmm.
school experience.
And what about track and field prepared you most when it came to football and learning how to adjust to college game going forward at all, if anything?
Uh, yeah, I think it helped a lot just because everyone always says the college game's faster, and being a track guy and being fast, it kind of has its advantages for me. But track definitely helped just with speed, being a wide receiver, like my top end speed, things like that. It also taught me how to be conditioned, how to be an athlete, mental toughness when I started getting tired and things like that.
Hmm. And additionally, growing up over the years, including high school, was there anyone in particular, whether that be a coach, teacher, or someone else, you could shout out for helping you the most and preparing you best for your future ahead?
Man, I had a couple guys, man. I had one that I worked with. His name's Montel Fleming. He's a foot doctor now. He's like the first guy that really got me going, and like my football training, and then Power Strength is a gym around here that trains local athletes that want to compete at the next level, and they helped me tremendously. But coaching wise, Coach Sherman, Coach Schwander helped me tremendously in high school. I wouldn't be the man I am today without them. So shout out to them.
Hmm. And moving onward, I see that you were a freshman in the 2020 season that didn't take place for Dayton. What was most difficult for you trying to adjust and get your feet wet in college, both on the field and learning what you could, but also as an individual off the field and academically?
Yeah, I mean that was just a big adjustment with COVID. I mean life was just different in 2020. Just being in the dorms and adjusting to not really having in-person classes.
Hmm.
Living out of a dorm, meeting friends. It was great because they put all of us football players on the same floor, so it was great there. But we only practiced, and we could only have limited practices, and we were having like special masks on our face and things like that. So it was really more of a challenge. At the end of the day, like you just want to play football, and when there's a bunch of outside factors that are limiting that. But it definitely was not ideal to not have a spring or like a fall or spring season because some FCS teams did compete in the spring. But at the end of the day, it did help me develop as a football player tremendously. Just have a full year of practice against ones and twos and threes, and the best competition,
Hmm.
things like that.
And what about that year taught you the most about yourself? Or what about that year opened your eyes to that you weren't aware of before, whether that be socially, academically, or something else?
Just like slow down, like being in new environments, new expectations, like you can get it in your own head really quickly. You might start doubting yourself and things like that. But, just take a deep breath. Remember that like there's a reason like you're standing where you are, and like every moment brings you to the moment that you're currently in. So like just take a deep breath. Like I think for me, like I just overthink everything. So just being able to like step back and realize everything's gonna be okay, time management and stuff like that, making sure I
Hmm.
got some good supporting staff, which we do at Dayton. I got people helping me and things like that.
Uh-huh. And moving forward into the 2021 season as redshirt freshman, you appeared in all 10 games and caught 11 passes for 272 yards and 2 touchdowns. But you were also a member of the 2021 PFL Academic Honor Roll. How would you summarize how that 2021 season played out?
I would say it was just like a little bit below expectations, just for what Dayton is as a program. I mean, we're a 700 program win, program, so like it's in our genes to win, and having the record that we did, it obviously wasn't what we wanted, but it was also a good learning experience for a lot of us. That year we only had two returning offensive starters, and one was one of the best quarterbacks I ever played with, Jack Cook, and it's kind of hard to lead when you go from throwing to a guy that's in the NFL to now you got a whole group of guys
Yeah.
that's never played a guy snap before. So it was definitely just adjustments, learning, growing up on the fly, things like that, maturity.
Uh-huh. And what were you most proud of yourself for that season? But also talk about your biggest focus in improving overall on the field when it came to the offseason leading into the 2022 season. Yes.
Yeah, my freshman year, my redshirt freshman year was I was gonna come over spark plug player, getting opportunities whenever I can. I was just proud of when I would make the plays when I would, set up our offense on a deep play or something like that. That was always exciting. And then going into the off season, my coaching staff really just told me, it's like how are you gonna get after it in the summer? Because summer's a time where, every athlete can either get better or get worse. No one really ever stays the same. So it's always been my mentality. Like I just got to attack it more than everybody. I got to hit the weight room. It's obviously a big thing for me, but then also just working on the craft, route running, things like that. And then just having a better discipline for the game. Obviously, when you come back to it a second year in a row, going through spring ball again, it slows down, that whole process, you mature as a player. So it was definitely also gaining like IQ in the game as well.
Mm-hmm. And I'm looking back at the past season, 2022. You saw an increase in yards and receptions, totaling 28 catches for 276 yards and a touchdown that both led the team. Additionally, you carried the ball over 10 times with a touchdown, as well as serving as the team's primary kick returner. With that said, what were you most proud of yourself from this past season, but also what you're looking to improve on, achieve personally, going to the upcoming season and beyond?
Personally, just for like, I'm just proud of myself for how I was in the special teams game. That's just obviously it'd be top 10 in the whole FCS for kick return yards and averages. Is huge, putting our offense in good positions. I mean, playing with Jake Chisholm, man, the guy, greatest running back to ever come through Dayton. We knew we were going to be handing him the ball a lot, and as a receiving core, we knew that our opportunities were going to be limited. And we made plays when they needed us to step up, which we did. But I was definitely proud of the special teams and how I played this year. Um, yeah, but going forward, like the improvements that I think, for me as a player is just, just locking in and just, being that guy in any shape or form and just having that confidence, just knowing that we're gonna be throwing the ball a lot more this year, coming out with the new coaching staff. It's just gonna be a lot of fun, especially with the group of receivers that we have.
Mm-hmm. And additionally, what it did it mean to you to not only lead your team in receptions yards, but also serving as primary kick returner and having the opportunity to take on a bigger responsibility than just being a wide receiver for the team?
Yeah, I mean that's something I've always wanted to do is return kicks, be on special teams. Something on speed obviously helps with. It's something I take a lot of pride into. Like I wouldn't be me without the guys that block for me, and that's one of like the greatest things that like on that kick return team is there's a bunch of my best friends. So it's like I go out there with 10 guys that I know are ready to block and give their all for me. So it only makes me want to go out there and get it back for them. And but being the receiver, man, like it is cool. I know like I know who we have in our room and like the guys. It could be me, it could be Joe Swanson, Jay Coleman, Sam Bubonics, Derek Will. You know what I mean? It could be any of
Mm-hmm.
us. Like we got, five guys that are listed as seniors or redshirt seniors that have been together, man. And our room is so tight where it's like, week one it might be me popping off, and then week two I might not get
Yeah.
a catch and somebody else. Like, man, it's something special that a
Mm-hmm.
receiving room is. So like I don't, obviously it's like cool, it's a cool stat to have, but it doesn't, it's whatever, you know what I mean? At the end of the day,
Yeah.
like I'm more happy for us as a group, I'd rather see us as the
You're
woes,
a team
lead the
player.
lead. Yeah, absolutely. That's what Dayton is too, and that's what our room is. That's like one of our values that Coach Costantino, our wide receiver coach, has instilled in us is like, how you play football and like how you play without the ball for blocking is how much you love your teammates. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just better when everyone's rooting for each other rather than like competing in a bad way against each other. Like competing's good, but in a good way where you're encouraging each other.
Of course. And while on the topic, what would you say has changed the most in your mindset and approach to the game of football when comparing your first day in college at Dayton to where you are now currently?
I would just say it's just like having the confidence within myself, going from worrying about like the littlest of things to like what's coach going to say about this play on film to versus like, all right, what am I good, like I'm just, you know what I mean, like I'm just out here playing versus
Yeah.
thinking. And that's been like my biggest switch is because you're just playing football at the end of the day. It's a kid game that you've been playing at recess for forever. Just having fun with it, and that's too is also remembering to have fun with it. I'm a guy that gets on myself a lot, if I
Mm-hmm.
drop a ball or something. But just remembering to be in the moment. Not everybody is blessed enough to play football at the next level, so just having thoughts like that.
Uh-huh. And when talking about recruitment, the NIL deals and world and everything else in between, for any athlete, it can be a lot to handle, I'm sure. So in your own words and taking your own recruitment process into consideration, what advice would you have to share with anyone wanting to take that next step to a collegiate sport, as well as anything they should be aware of or look out for in particular when deciding where they ultimately want to play at?
Yeah, man, college football is a business, man. Like they want you to come play for them, obviously. Like you want to recruit and you're on a visit, they're gonna tell you you're the top recruit. They're gonna
Yeah.
make it seem like it's the best thing ever, man. Sorry about my dogs again, but
No, you're
like
good.
like
Yeah.
even when we have recruits up, like we go out and take them on player visits, show them around and things like that. Like obviously we want to show them the best part of Dayton, and like we would love for them to be a part of our team, but coaches definitely like hype everything up in every like manner, not only at Dayton, but outside every school. And also it's
Yeah.
just like it's just a business at the end of the day too. You know college football, like you think of like the top schools, you think of like Saban and guys
Hmm.
like that, but you don't think about who's under them all the time. And you got to realize that there's over 10 position coaches on a team and on a staff, and those guys come in and out all the time. So the coach that's recruiting you might not be the coach that stays. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? So it's definitely just learning that like there is a business side to everything, and
Yeah.
things like that.
And when transitioning over to life off the field, what's a typical day look like for you during the season and the off season?
Yeah, during the season, we'll get up. We got depending on the day, usually like I'll just give you like a day. I'll go through a full day of classes starting around like 9. Those will get done around like 2. Got a little bit of time in between to eat and everything like that. Then at like 2:30, 3 o'clock, we got like position meetings. From position meetings, we head over, got special teams meeting, and then practice. And then on like other days, they'll incorporate a lift in there at like 7 a.m. or something like that, but just keep the same schedule. But it's pretty routine. We'll have Mondays off. Usually, everyone gets one day off within the week. But it's a good routine, especially like on travel weeks are always different than home weeks. But in
Hmm.
the off season's a lot different because I mean, as NCAA rules, you can only like meet with players for so much. So it's just off season workouts, for the most part, where that's just waking up at 5 a.m. and having a 6 a.m. workout. And then after that 6 to like 7:30 time slot, you're pretty much free the rest of the day. You just got classes, taking care of responsibility, really getting on top of your academics. And then we transition to spring ball. It's not too much different from what the fall is. It's just a little bit less days, but we'll have a meeting within the day, a walkthrough within the day, and then practice within the day as well as classes. So nothing too crazy. You just got to plan your time well, make sure you stay
Hmm.
on top of academics and things like that.
Hmm. And additionally, talk about your major. What is it about? But also why you chose it and what possibilities it might have in store for you in your future.
Yeah, so I'm teacher education, so I'm studying to be a high school teacher, and with that, I want to be a
Okay.
coach down the line. I
Hmm.
just think I love the game of football. I want it to be something that I can be around for forever. It's not one of those sports that you can play for forever like basketball or golf. It's one of those things that once your time's up, your time's up, but you can always be around it coaching. One of those things is like later in life, man, I'd love to be like an athletic director or something like that
Mm-hmm.
where I can control things. But just be a head coach somewhere, just have fun coaching football, Friday night lights, enjoying the little things in life, not taking it too seriously and things like that.
Mm-hmm. And seeing that you grew up in your hometown of Grand Rapids, Michigan, what was it like for you growing up in the area over the years?
It was great. Grand Rapids is a great area. Forest Hills, where I went to school, is a great area, man. A lot of neighboring schools. I'd say it's not like it's a newer area to like in terms of like development, where you don't have like towns and cities where like one school is representing like one town. It's just a bunch of like schools within areas. You know what I mean, like that. But it's a great place to grow up, great place to live. Definitely a place that is very like home to my heart, obviously. And then it produces great talent as well. It's definitely on the up and come up, man. Like Grand Rapids football, basketball, and everything that comes around it. It's got some great sports.
Uh-huh. And what is your favorite thing to do in your hometown? But also, how would you describe the environment, atmosphere, and local residents?
Yeah, I would say like my favorite thing to do would probably just be like hanging out with my friends. Gonna go like beat ups down the street, maybe catch a movie at Celebration or something like that. But it's just like a local area. You got like a main road that kind of divides, like where you can go on like either side. It can take you down all the way to like Rockford, or it can take you down all the way to Northview, and you gotta have a mix of everything. You're kind of in the middle of suburbia, if you will. But it's
Uh-huh.
great. I love.
Yeah. And when taking a deeper look into Dayton and its program as a whole, how would you best describe the program's identity when it comes to athletics, but also expand on what they pride themselves most on when it comes to their student athletes off the field, as well as in the classroom, for example?
Well, the one word that describes Dayton is just community. Like it's like the one place where like everyone's looking out for each other. Like for example, like unless you're the first person walking in the door, like you're never gonna have to open a door. Like people hold doors for each other. We're always looking out for each other. We got a student neighborhood that is nothing like anybody else. You got 1,000 college students living in one or two blocks of each other, and it's something crazy. But for like football wise, man, it's tradition. It's loyalty. I'd say it's a lot of things, but Dayton football is historic in its own manner. A lot of great people have come through here, both players and coaches. And it's something that obviously a tradition we want to build upon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
And just say, what does it mean to you personally to be able to put on that Dayton uniform each game? But also, how you would summarize the purpose and meaning behind being a Dayton Flyer, both on and off the field?
I take a lot of pride in just being a Dayton Flyer. It's one of those things where, I wear the D out in public. Like it's something I wear with pride. I wear my Dayton football anywhere. It's like something that I don't, a lot of people don't take lightly. The alumni base of Dayton is tremendous, and everything that comes with it. You see someone that sees you rocking Dayton, that they're gonna say something to you or something like that. Um, yeah. What was the second part of that question? Sorry.
Um, how would you summarize the purpose and meaning behind being a Dayton Flyer?
Oh yeah, some of that, but then yeah, put on the uniform, man. Like obviously, it's an honor and a privilege. Like I said, there's been a lot of guys that have come through Dayton football, a lot of historic names. You got guys coaching in the NFL that played at Dayton. You got coaches that came through Dayton. You got like the attorney. I think it's the Attorney General of Ohio was a Dayton Flyer football player. You know what I mean? You just got
Mm-hmm.
lots of guys that have come through and made a difference in the world that have put on the jersey. So it's the utmost honor for me to be able to wear it.
Mm-hmm. And who do you represent and play for whenever you're on that field? And whenever you might feel like giving up possibly in a game or practice, who do you look to bring? Who do you look to bring you back up and keep going?
Yeah, definitely my family, man. They've been supportive of me 100% of the way. Just been there through the thick and thin. Everything like that. They come to all my games, and without them, I wouldn't be who I am. So I definitely, whenever I play with a chip on my shoulder for them as well.
Hmm. And growing up over the years, expand on the following. Who's your favorite childhood role model, sports wise, as well as the one athlete you wanted to be like and model your game after?
There's two. I mean, everyone I think from my generation, loves the Tavon Austin highlight tape, and that's something I
Yeah.
still continue to watch to this
Hmm.
day. Where I watch it before a game or practice to kind of get in a mindset. But a real one would be Ryan Switzer from North Carolina. good kick returner, good slot receiver back in the day, similar to me in speed, in stature. Looking at guys like him, but I'm always studying the game. I've always been a guy where I just throw up, highlights of people on YouTube, and I'm just like, oh, that's cool. Like he did this or he did that.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got a list of guys who I'm studying over the summer of who I want to emulate. Just because that's what football is. You're never going to be the best. There's someone that's always going to have stuff that they do better and that they can bring to the table that you can learn from. So I definitely recommend that to anybody. Just watch as much like individual highlights as you can.
Mm-hmm. And seeing that the team went 8-3 overall, with the conference record 6-2 last season, how would you describe how last season as a whole played out?
I would say it was I want to put this like in good context. It was like a rebuild. Like we came back from what we had done previously. We kind of got everybody back on track. That was big to our senior class, and they got everyone to buy in again, kind of shift the culture back to a we versus me mentality and coming at it. And I think one thing is we were just so close that season. There were a couple of games there where Davidson we lost by one, and some games throughout the entire season where some things went our way, the score might have been differently. It's just, about finishing. And I think that's been the big emphasis going in this next season is how are we going to finish? How are we going to compete for 4 quarters? Like, are we going to worry about other teams? Or are we just going to worry about us? Things like that. And I think that the mindset we have going into the next season is really good right now.
Mm-hmm. And what about the team and coaching staff are you most proud of? But also your thoughts about the team, coaching staff, and what you yourself needs to do to build on last season's success going into the 2023 season and beyond.
Yeah, we got a new coaching staff coming with Coach Chamberlain retiring. So, it's been great to get to meet them and kind of see what, they're bringing to the table. And they're bringing in a lot of great stuff, kind of really changing up the program. Coach Chamberlain was a great head coach. He had been at Dayton as a player and as a coach since the 70s. So, he's been a big part of keeping that tradition and everything that comes with Dayton. But, the new coaching staff's definitely bringing us to new heights and new levels that we haven't reached before. They're having us compete and bring out the best of us and really seeing who the best players on the team are. And I think they got us in a great spot going forward. The momentum that we have right now is something scary. It's something that we're all ready for. We're chasing that ring. Everyone at Dayton wants one so bad because it's been so long since we
Mm-hmm.
got one. So we want to be the team that does that.
Mm-hmm. And what can fans expect out of you and the team going forward?
You're gonna expect that classic Dayton Flyer team that you've always seen. A team that plays for 4 quarters, a team that comes and is more physical. A team that just never gives up. I think you're gonna expect us to shock the world. Our first game of the season, we're gonna come out, with no fear at all. And then PFL, we got a tougher schedule than we've had in the past. But at the end of the day, like that just means that every single game's in our hands, and that doesn't mean that we gotta hope that other teams beat other teams because in the conference we play, and if you get one loss, the chance of you winning the PFL goes down tremendously. So, our expectation is not only to be perfect in the PFL, but to be perfect all season.
Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at the NIL world and opportunities. Have you been involved with or a part of anything in your collegiate career so far?
Nothing crazy. Like it's nothing at the FCS level that you see guys at the FBS level get. I mean, I've been offered like Barstool and stuff for that where I'll get free clothes or like body armor. I'll get like a case of body armor, which is always nice as a college athlete. A couple guys I got offered to do it, but I never did. You can sign up for like different promotional things where you can get like money for Instagram posts based on like how many followers you have. But I really haven't gone fully in depth with it, fully into it, just because it's just then again, I'm not Bryce Young. I'm not bringing in the
Yeah.
millions that some of these guys are.
But with that said, is there any brand or company you're specifically interested in or want to be a partner with going forward?
I mean, like anybody and anybody, I guess. Like it doesn't really matter to me. It's just like one of those things where, like obviously like a dream would be Nike, but you never know,
Yeah.
nothing in particular like that.
And additionally, what is your personal outlook and thoughts on NIL and its entirety, not only now, but for the future of athletes and generations to come?
I think it's good and bad. You got it's good because I think college athletes, yeah, deserve to get paid. I think that the money and the revenue that they bring in, like obviously they
Yeah.
get the money. And it's been great because I also think it keeps kids in school. There's no incentive for some of these people to go to the league when they're a sophomore or junior because you're
Mm-hmm.
making guaranteed money in high school. But also, I think there's definitely a conversation that needs to be had about how schools in the NCAA manages the money that schools can give, because there definitely is going to be a huge transparency in the
Yeah.
future when you see Power Five versus not Power Five schools. It's almost going to become, you have guys in the Power Five bringing in $200,000 or something like that just for
Hmm.
signing onto the team. Then you got like the top burner at you know a Big East school making $200,000. You're just
Yeah.
not going to get the recruits. The level of football is just not going to be the same. So, it's just something that I'm not smart enough to figure out, but
Yeah.
there's definitely a conversation to be had around it.
And I looking back into life off the field, how would you describe yourself not only as an athlete on the field, but also as an individual off the field, as well as what you pride yourself most on when it comes to life in general?
Yeah, probably just making a difference, man. Like I just think personable interactions, just being a good human, just trying to do, be the best version of myself that I can every single day. Whether that be the best, son, student, player, friend, thing like that. You can only ask that of yourself every day, and that's all I ask of myself. So definitely just priding on myself of just just giving kindness to the world, things like that.
Hmm. And additionally, where on campus at Dayton would you say is the place to be, but also where you enjoy spending the most time at, other than any athletic facilities?
Brown, like the particular street at Dayton would be like Brown Street that has a bunch of, good food places. I myself, you catch me at Milano's. They got the best pizza in Dayton. Just a good place, good area. Um, yeah, I probably hang out there with my friends all the time after or before a game, something like that on a Friday night. Good times.
Uh-huh. And when talking about accomplishments, what is something off the field you're most proud of yourself for, whether that be academically, socially, or something different?
Oh man, off the field, man, I'd be proud of myself. In my student teaching this past year, I got like the dean of students from the high school came up to me and like was telling me like that the students were having some challenges in the school were showing upside since I'd gotten there and made a difference.
Hmm.
So just seeing that, that's my future career and that's something that in my work I'm being told that I'm making a difference. That's probably been the most like rewarding thing that I could say.
Hmm. And additionally, when it comes to being an athlete and playing college football, what would you say is something valuable you learned over time up to where you are now that you feel you wouldn't be able to experience or learn firsthand if you're not an athlete or playing football?
You can always get it done. You know what I mean? Like there's always a way. When there's a will, there's a way. You know what I mean? Like there's
Hmm.
guys that, I pride myself academically. Like I always get my work in on time. I don't use being an athlete as an excuse. You know what I mean? Like if you put your mind to like accomplishing like what you need to do in a day, like and nothing can ever get like too overwhelming. And like you can always look back and say like, hey, I finished it. Like I persevered. So, like later on in life, man, like whatever challenges come my way, like I'm not gonna back down. It's just gonna be one more thing I gotta tackle.
Uh-huh. And when taking a look into the next level, such as the NFL, if you're asked by a scout or a coach what you're capable of, what you can add to a roster, but why they should be looking at you specifically, how would you respond? What kind of athlete and individual would they be getting out of you?
They'd be getting one of the hardest working people that they've ever met. I can have teammates that attest to this, man. I just love the game of football too, and I think that's also rare in college sports. Is you got guys that are chasing NIL, but like at the level that I play, man, like I just love the game of football. Like I said, I want to be a high school coach. I want to dedicate my life to it. But in addition to that, just as me as a player, man, like you can't teach speed. I ran a 4.32 40 time. That's something that not a lot of people on this planet can do.
Yeah.
Whether that be like on special teams as a receiver, something like that. I could, do anything to make an impact for any team. And just, at the end of the day, just give me an opportunity. That's what Dayton did, and look what I was working for them. I think I can do the same for the next level as well. I got a lot of faith in myself in that.
Hmm. And then when thinking of the people that mean the most to you in your life growing up, I think you've already talked about this, but just reiterating again, who would these people be for you specifically? But also, what would you have to share with them if they were to be listening?
Yeah, no, just definitely like my family, my mom and my dad. Like I couldn't have asked for two better parents. They provided me anything that I've ever needed. Never made me worry about things like that. Like their love and support goes beyond measure for anything that I can compare. But beyond that, to my brother, I mean, he was just a good big brother, older brother, beat me up as a kid. Like
Yeah.
roughed me up, got me ready for what life was gonna be, and I'm proud of him for everything that he's accomplished. He just got into dental hygiene school, so he's doing his own road, and I couldn't be more proud of him, and I know he's proud of me.
Uh-huh. And additionally, what advice that you've gotten in your life so far has stuck to you the most over time?
Um, I would say that the past is not a place of excuse me, the past is not a place of residence, it's a place of reflection, right? You know, as a person that, you know, like overthinks and, you know, might overthink a situation, a counter class, a life, like you just gotta continue to move forward. You know, like don't worry, if you will. Like you're allowed to look in your past and learn from it and reflect from it, but in terms of life, man. If you dwell in the past on anything, if you lose a game, if something went wrong in your life, if you live in that moment, that badness, man, you're never gonna get out of it. So give your time to reflect on it. Just don't live there.
Hmm. And off the field, what is something you want to be able to advocate and use your platform to advocate for?
You know, probably actually like just that education reform. I just think that the point of where we are in America with me wanting to be a teacher, I just think that the key to a lot of things in life is proper education and
Yep.
providing education to everybody that's proper education. So just having you know, a platform maybe in the future to be able to do that would be something I would do for sure.
I definitely agree with you on that. I'm a special education major, and
Nice.
yeah, it's a lot. It's tough to see where some kids are at, but
Absolutely. Like, so,
of
you know,
course,
not everyone sees that. And then once you
yeah,
actually do see it, that's what makes you want to stay. You know what I mean?
yeah, of course. And when your collegiate career eventually comes to an end, how do you want to be remembered most for during your time at Dayton?
You know, I would rather be remembered for how I treated people rather than how I played on the field. I
Hmm.
like the most notable man, like teammate that I had is Cam Specht, who is receiver. You know, he was the ultimate teammate. You know, he had guys younger than him playing over him, but you know, you would never know that he was ever upset. He just wanted us to succeed. And I will always remember his impact as just being a good person rather than, you know, what he did on the field. I couldn't tell you like how any of the players played that season, but I could tell you like how Cam Specht treated a lot of people. So I would like people to think the same way about me.
Of course. And last question: when things are all said and done, what do you think you'll miss most about being in college and having the opportunity to play college football at the Division I FCS level?
Man, all of it, just, you know, playing the game of football, but then at little things is just being in the locker room with your teammates to the bus rides to, you know, complaining about how tired we are and things like that, man. You know, all my best friends are football guys. All my whole life is dating football at this point, and you know, I want to change that for the world. So, you know, definitely gonna miss all those things where all the little interactions and just laughs, if you would, you know, just good moments with the team.
Of course. Once again, Luke Brenner, Dayton wide receiver. Luke, thanks a lot for taking the time and wish you nothing but the best with your future.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Of course.